Welcome to the American Eagle Alliance and This Week in American History. We here at Revolution Television want to encourage a reconnection with our proud heritage, a remembrance of America the Great. And so we are going to take a look at some of the things that happened in American history during the week of April 26th through May the 2nd. April 26th, 1598, Spanish explorer Juan de Arnate reached the Rio Grande River. 1607, about 5 months after departing England, colonists came ashore at Cape Henry, Virginia. They would continue up the James River and establish the first permanent English settlement in the New World, which they called Jamestown. The contingent of settlers carrying Captain John Smith, by the way, in the brig at that time, came on 3 ships, the Susan Constant, the Discovery, and the Godspeed. 1865, federal troops surrounded and killed the assassin of President Abraham Lincoln near Bowling Green, Virginia. That was John Wilkes Booth, as you all know. 1961, the integrated circuit was patented by Robert Noyce. Nice job, Robert. April 27th, 1805, United States Marines captured the city of Derna on the famous shores of Tripoli during the First Barbary War. 1813, United States forces captured York during the War of 1812. York is now known as Toronto. 1822, Ulysses S. Grant was born in Point Pleasant, Ohio. He would become the 18th President of the United States. 1865, the steamboat Sultana exploded near Memphis on the Mississippi River. 1,700 people, mostly Civil War veterans, were killed. It was the worst maritime disaster in U.S. history. 1887, Philadelphia surgeon George T. Morton performed the first appendectomy. Now moving on to April the 28th. 1758, the future 5th President of the United States, James Monroe, was born in Westmoreland County, Virginia. 1788, Maryland became the 7th state to ratify the United States Constitution. 1817, the United States and Great Britain agreed to limit their naval forces in the Great Lakes. The result was an unfortified U.S.-Canadian border. 1952, the post-World War II occupation of Japan by the United States ended. It took 12 years to end the military occupation of the South after the Civil War and only 7 years for Japan. I wonder how you account for that. Technology, I suppose. April 29th, 1854. The first college for African American students was established in Chester County, Pennsylvania. It was named Ashman Institute, but was later renamed Lincoln University. 1898, the first United States Cancer Lab was established at the University of Buffalo. 1945, U.S. troops liberated Dachau, the Dachau concentration camp in Germany. 1975, American officials evacuated Saigon as North Vietnamese troops closed in on the capital of South Vietnam. April 30th, 1789, George Washington was sworn in as the first president of the United States under the Constitution in New York City. 1803, the United States approximately doubled in size as negotiations with France were concluded for the purchase of the Louisiana Territory. The cost? $15 million, or approximately 60 million francs. 1812, Louisiana became the 18th state. 1939, Iron Man Lou Gehrig played his last game for the New York Yankees, ending his streak of 2,130 consecutive games. 1939, Franklin Roosevelt became the first president to appear on television as he opened the World's Fair in New York City. 1975, the last Americans evacuated Saigon as the South Vietnamese capital fell to communist forces. May 1st, 1898, A squadron of American warships defeated a Spanish squadron in Manila Bay during the Spanish-American War. It was here that Commodore George Dewey gave the famous command, "You may fire when ready, Gridley." 1931, the 102-story Empire State Building was dedicated in New York City. 1963, James Whittaker became the first American to climb Mount Everest. 1970, the 19th census confirms that the population of the United States had topped 200 million people. The exact number? 203,302,031. Thought it was 32. Anyway, somewhere in that vicinity. And now May 2nd, 1497, English explorer John Cabot set sail to search for a westward route to the Indies. This was only like about 4.5 years after Christopher Columbus had made his famous journey on the first of his 4 visits to the New World. 1863, Confederate General Thomas Jackson, known as Stonewall, was accidentally shot by one of his own troops during the Battle of Chancellorsville, Virginia. He would die 8 days later. Jackson was a brilliant tactician and commander. Had he not been wounded, the course of the Civil War and the history of the United States could have been much different. The loss of Jackson caused General Lee to reorganize his Army of Northern Virginia into 3 corps instead of 2, commanded by Generals Longstreet, Hill, and Ewell. This is the leadership team that would command the Confederate forces in the pivotal Battle of Gettysburg just 2 months after Jackson being shot. Ambrose Hill had only been promoted to the rank of brigadier general in late February of 1862. Scarcely more than a year later, he was commander of Lee's 3rd Corps. He also was the one whose blunder led to a battle at Gettysburg that Lee did not want. It was General Richard Ewell who failed to press the Confederate advantage at the end of the first day of the battle that allowed the Union forces to settle in on Cemetery Ridge, giving the North the best ground in the area and a distinct advantage. General Longstreet, like Jackson, was a gifted commander, but lacked Jackson's credentials. And maybe this is why Lee overruled Longstreet repeatedly in his repeated warnings against the attack on Little Round Top on the second day of the battle. The failed attempt to take the far left flank of the Union line proved disastrous to the Confederate cause. Who knows how things may have turned out had that rebel soldier missed the mark when he unknowingly fired on his general in the evening of May 2nd, 1863. 1890, the Oklahoma Territory was organized. 1949, Arthur Miller's novel Death of a Salesman won the Pulitzer Prize. 1965, the early bird satellite sent TV images across the Atlantic for the first time. And in 2011, SEAL Team 6 confronted and killed Osama bin Laden at his compound in Pakistan. And that is This Week in American History.